Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to spend some FaceTime cream contouring and highlighting. I'm just going to walk you why am I saying so much? Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to spend some FaceTime with cream contouring and highlighting. I'm going to walk you through how I cream contour and highlight. Okay, so off camera I have moisturized and primed my face and applied my foundation. You want to make sure when you are cream contouring especially that you moisturize your face. If you have any dry patches of skin, you're putting on a lot of layers of cream. And if you have dry skin, it's gonna stick to that and it's gonna be really uneven. I know I get that sometimes. I always have this area over here that's dry, like no matter what, and I get a patch and I'm like, ugh, ugh, ugh. So make sure that you do that. Today I used the Milani Conceal and Perfect 2-in-1 and I used a Morphe M439 brush to put it on. Usually I'm a beauty blender girl, but I don't know, I just like how this foundation applies with a brush. So yeah, I have everything done, my brows done, my eyes, and honestly this is like the first time I've had a full face of makeup with no contour on since my freshman year of college. That's the last time I think I did my makeup without contouring. So like looking at this, I'm like, damn, I went out into the world like this a lot. Scary. So I have two contour palettes that I go back and forth between. I like them both. They're both very different in consistency and in price. The first one is the one that I think everyone uses. It's the Anastasia Beverly Hills. I really like that palette. I don't recommend it for beginners. So if you've never cream contoured your face before, please don't go to Sephora and spend $45 on that palette. You're gonna be pretty confused. There's a lot of colors and it's also very difficult to blend out, and you already have to spend so much time blending when you're doing a cream contour, but that is just such a stiff, that palette, the consistency of the creams, it's just so stiff. You're gonna be like, oh my god, is this how it's supposed to be? So I don't recommend that if you're just starting. If you have that palette, maybe you're like me when I first started cream contouring, that's the first thing I went to. So you're like trying to figure it out. What I do recommend is I use this is a Suave Professionals Moroccan infused oil, and it's for your skin, so make sure it's like not Moroccan oil that you like put on your hair. This is for your skin. And I take my palette and just in like the top, like when you open it, like this part up here, I just take this and I spray a little bit and then I dip my brush, like whatever I'm using, in this and then dip it in the product. So what this is gonna do is thin that product out a little bit so it's more easy to blend. I have combination skin and I'm really sensitive to like a lot of cream products, but using this oil does not, I don't break out. It's not bad. You're already using that cream, and if anything, when you're adding this oil, you're using less. So it's gonna be like lighter on your face, but also it's gonna take your palette and extend the life of it because you're not dipping in, because like you can't get it down because it's so hard to blend out. If you're following along and using that palette, then definitely get some oil to thin that out. Trust me, try that. Today though, what I'm going to be using and what I recommend for anybody who is just starting out cream contouring, and honestly who's starting out for anything, if you're just starting out doing your makeup, I would not go, no matter what it is, I would not go to Sephora and spend hundreds of dollars. If you've read my blog, you know that my philosophy is that you could spend $100 on products and you could spend $15 on products. It's all about the way that you're using them. Go to a drugstore and get some products and play with it and know what you like. I don't know. Just hold off till you know what you're doing. Spend $6, try it and see what you like. You might find out that you know, it's not even for you, but then you've only spent $6, not $45. So what we're going to use today is the e.l.f. cream contour palette. This is $6 and it blends like a dream. That is the real thing and why I would suggest this for beginners. Not only the price, so you know, you buy this and you set yourself back $6, you decide, oh my god, cream contouring is not for me. Okay, well, you've only invested $6 in it, so you know, you can let it sit in your makeup bin until you want to try again or throw it away, and it's not that big of a deal. But this also blends out so nicely, and that makes it a lot easier. So you're not like sitting there spending so much time blending and blending and blending, blending and blending and blending and blending and blending. And it's gonna be easier to make it look more natural, which is what everyone is going for. Let's get started. I'm gonna start highlighting. I always highlight first. For me, I want my, I have like a rounder face, so I want those contours to be really prominent. So I blend my contour out last because if anything, I want the contour to kind of like get onto the highlight. I don't want to bring that highlight down onto my contour. And honestly, now that I'm looking at my face, like, do I even have a round face? Is it a square? Will someone tell me what my face shape is? I don't know. Okay, anyway, let's get started. I use a brush like this. This is just this is a max coverage concealer brush from Bare Minerals. I love this brush for especially my under eye area. I've had this brush forever, like an embarrassing long time. How long ago was it since I've been using Bare Minerals? Like, that's how long I have this brush. So first thing I'm gonna do is highlight, and I'm going to dip it in this color right here. And I am going to highlight all the areas that the sun would hit. So we're gonna take it right here and just a little bit, because where you highlight, you're gonna bring that forward. So you don't want to, you know, highlight all the way here and have your chin will look big. So you only want to highlight what you want to come forward, and you need to be, I don't know what I'm saying. And then I'm gonna bring down there. And then I'm also going to take some here and here. So now I'm gonna do my under eye area. This, I don't know where this came from. I've seen girls on Snapchat doing it. Someone sent me a Snapchat doing this one time and it was like baking, and I almost like called 911. Like, this is, I don't know where people are seeing this, but it makes me crazy. When you put your under eye highlight on, you do not let this sit here. I have seen people be like, I have to blend this out right now as I'm like talking to you. I don't know what that is, but there's no purpose in letting this just sit in this formation. First of all, this is not the, like, this is not the formation that you want it to be when you are, once it's blended out. So letting it sit on your face like this, that's not, I think people are getting confused with like the idea of like setting or baking your face. But you do not let this product sit on your especially your under eye while it's wet. One of the biggest things that you should be trying to avoid when you're concealing and highlighting your under eye area is creasing. And if you let that thick product sit on there in its, you know, thickest form, which is before you blend it out, you're just asking for creases. So I don't know, like, I want to find, like, was it on Twitter? Like, where do people get this idea? So that's not baking, that's not setting. Don't do it or I'm coming over, okay? So I'm gonna blend that out. Like, I literally can't even, like, I couldn't even let it sit on there to talk. Like, I just don't understand. I don't know where that's coming from. And if you see how like nicely that blends out and how like it's so subtle and natural already, like it just does such a nice job, and it's not creasing. I have a Morphe concealer that like I really love. It's very full coverage, but it's just too cakey and it creases under my under eye area. This does not do that. So I'm just using a damp beauty blender. And if you'll notice, I'm not traveling with this product. So you see up here, like this probably needs blended a little bit more, but I'm not traveling with the product. So that means I'm not like taking it out. I'm pressing it into the skin because like I said, whatever you highlight, you bring forward. So I don't want to bring my chin forward too much. So wherever I put it, I'm just pressing it into the skin. I'm gonna go up here and press into the skin. Okay, and now we're highlighted. So those of you who are guilty of my absolute concealer pet peeve, which is letting that thick concealer just sit there before you blend it out, I am going to show you what you need to be doing in order to make that last, because that is not making your concealer last. But what you're gonna do is you're gonna bake, and if you're like, oh, that sounds like too much, baking is very simple, and it is the best way to keep that on there and keep it from creasing. So what you're going to do is take a translucent powder. I am using the Coty Air Spun. This is a drugstore brand and it's absolutely amazing. And a damp beauty sponge. So I'm taking my damp beauty sponge and I'm dipping it in here. And I'm getting a good amount on there. And then I'm gonna pack this on my under eye. And I'm gonna start from here over. This technique of moving from here over is what I found helps most eliminate creases. I don't know what it is. It's just something about when I move from this corner out, I feel like I get more creasing. But when I move from the corner or from the outside in, it just like fills in any cracks. So this is it. This is literally it. This is all you do. And you look crazy, but this is it. And now you're baking, which baking seems like, oh, I have this stuff everywhere. I feel like people think baking is such like a hard concept, but this is really all it is. And what this does is this powder lays on top of your skin because we put it on really thick, right? So it's laying on top of the skin and your skin is warm and it emits heat, but the concealer is trapped between your skin and this powder. So it's cooking, that's why it's called baking. It's cooking that concealer with your body heat. And when you take it off, that's how it's going to keep everything in place because it's cooked that concealer and it's not gonna move. I also like to do this, I touch my chin a lot, which I talked about this in my other videos, so I always bake my chin. And then I go ahead and do these sides that I've done. And I do this because it's kind of like a little, like a bumper. It's just a nice reminder, especially when you're going in to do your contour, not to take your contour that low. And if you do get some contour, well, if you're powder contouring, on here it'll brush right off. And then I'm also just gonna go ahead and take that on my forehead because that's a more oily area, and you know, why the hell not? I've baked everywhere else, so. Okay, so when I cream contour, actually even when I'm not cream contouring, because I'm always concealing and highlighting with a cream, even when I'm powder contouring, I always do this step. You can skip this step if you want. I use a brush like this. This is the, like, look how much, oh my god. Why? It's because I'm sitting in front of the window. Okay, I'm using the Morphe M438 brush, and this is what I use to kind of like just set there. Whether you want to bake or set, and the only difference with setting is that you're not packing this on and you won't have to dust it off. You just like go in and it makes it less tacky. But that's what you want to do to keep your concealer all day. Letting it sit on there when it's wet is not doing anything, and if anything, it's increasing your creasing in your under eye. And I mean, just like think about it. You're letting it sit there for the purpose of letting it sit all day, but then you pick the product up and you're moving it. So just don't do that. Set or bake. all glam makeup is derived from like drag and drag queens, and this is what drag queens use to keep their makeup in place, and this is kind of where baking came from. You know, they're dancing, they're on stage, and they're sweating, and there's lights, so if that can make their stay, it's gonna make your stay, you know, at the frat house, okay? Now, when you cream contour, you're wanting to use a shade that is just about 2 shades darker than your foundation. I think a lot of people make that mistake. I know I was making that mistake for a really long time. I was using these really dark shades to contour, and it just doesn't look right. I'm gonna go in and I'm gonna give you a couple brush options and a couple different things that I use when I contour. I like this Morphe, and this is from the Elite collection. It's the E47. I like this for, I was usually just using it on my nose, but then I actually decided that I kind of like it for everywhere. So I have this brush. It's super precise because it's kind of small. I also, this is the e.l.f. This doesn't even have, I don't even know what this is, but this is just kind of like a more domed brush. I also like this for my nose and for here. But this is gonna take a little longer, and you're like, sometimes I use dots because it gets really small. So another thing I'll use is a larger brush, and this is an e.l.f. This is a contouring brush, and this is a little bit bigger, and this one you can actually just kind of like one and done. I haven't used this in a while. Maybe we'll use this today. e.l.f. brush, e.l.f. contouring palette. We'll see. So I'm going in and I'm going to use, I'm pretty light right now, I haven't spray tanned. So I'm gonna use this shade up here, this lighter shade. And I am gonna go in with, I think I'm gonna use my Morphe E47. So I'm gonna take this and I'm gonna dip it in here. Get a good amount on there. Okay, so for me, what's really important to me when I'm contouring my face is really getting like a chiseled and like bringing it in here. For a long time, and I still do this, honestly, when I'm like in a rush, I just like, and like contour right there. When I really take my time though and think about it, I take it higher than that natural dip in my cheek, because the higher you take it, that's gonna change the shape of your face. So, you know, this might be naturally where you're contoured, but if we, you know, we're happy with our natural contour, you know, we wouldn't be contouring and trying to enhance that. So I like to take it a little bit further, and I go from right here. So this is like kind of like the corner of my ear, and I take it right down and stop. You don't want to bring that all the way down here or even past really like the arch of your eyebrow. You want the darkest part of your contour to be back here. That's what's going to make it look like a shadow. If you bring it in more and under with that line, it's just going to look like a smudge. Now you can blend it down so there's like a soft contour here, but you don't want to, you want to stop right here. So initially when I went in, I just did like a line. And then when I went back in, I kind of thickened that out. The thicker that you make this line, now you don't want to go crazy, but I make mine thicker because I really want to pull in here. So I make it thicker and then bring it down because I want shaded all the way back. If you have a smaller face, or you know, maybe you already have pretty defined cheekbones, you're not going to need to make it this thick. But if you have a round face and if you really want to pull it in, you want to make a thicker line here, and you'll see how that looks when I blend it out. But next I'm gonna go ahead and contour everywhere else I would contour. I don't have, or at least I don't feel like I have a very big forehead, so I don't really go nuts when I contour my forehead. I just kind of go on the sides here. And then when I blend that out, I'll actually just connect this. Now you don't have to do that. I do that because I want to make my face look smaller. I want to give, you know, I want to give a more slender appearance. So I connect this to bring this all in. Okay, and then I'm going to go ahead and contour my nose. To do this, I am just taking it down the bridge of my nose and connecting those at the bottom. So And then that looks crazy obviously right now, but then we'll blend that out and it'll look a little bit better. And then also I always contour my jaw. You can really transform. So I go along my natural jawline. So I'm gonna take it right here. And here. But if you don't have, like, I don't feel like I have a really defined jaw, but if you have even less of a defined jaw, you can draw that on wherever. Like, you can draw that on a little further up here or maybe like down here, wherever you want it. And it really does make a difference. And right now it's like, ooh, that's crazy. But when you blend it out, it just makes such a difference and it really sculpts the face. And if you have like a longer face that you want to make look shorter, just bring that jaw contour up a little more and you'll make your face look shorter. It's so easy and I think it makes the most difference. And then I also just shade my chin. So once we have that contour everywhere we want it, I'm gonna go ahead in with the damp beauty blender and blend that all out. Something to remember while blending, if you'll notice, is when you blend up. And that's why I said I put this here, because you're not going to want to blend down into that. But you don't want to take this down any further, because when you take it down, then that's defeating the purpose. So you want to blend this up when you blend out. Okay, so once I have everything blended out, I'm gonna go in with a big fluffy brush. This is my E41, Morphe E41, and I'm gonna dip into just like whatever's left in the cap of this from when I was baking, just swirl that around, and I'm gonna set my whole face, and then also by going over this, I'll dust off any of that excess from the baking the concealer. So now we are all blended out, and I honestly forgot how much I love cream contouring. I have not cream contoured in so long, but it's so pretty. Like I said, when you want to cream contour, you just want to use a color that's like 2 shades darker than your foundation. But you know, no, it's winter time, and you know, like especially right now I'm looking a little bit pasty, but you don't want your color and the bronze, like bronzing your face, that's not going to come from your contour, and you're not using your bronze to contour your face. You can like when I'm in a hurry, I think I just like throw on some bronzer here and here, and it does make a difference. But when you're contouring, that color is just kind of making a shadow. So if you see, it's not really giving my face bronze and color, it's kind of just giving a shadow. So now what I'll do is I'll go in, and I am using the Physicians Formula bronzer, and this is a Morphe R2, and I'm just taking this, just like swirling it around, and then I'm just gonna lightly just go in where I contoured over top, just to give my face a little bit more of a bronze. And you'll see how that kind of adds a little bit more color to my face. That's not going to contour you, but it is going to add a little bit more color and warmth. Going to use my Morphe M437 and my favorite blush palette by e.l.f. And I'm going to take just this kind of orangey color. It's kind of orange up here. And I am just going to sweep this across the cheeks, close to like kind of like right on top of my contour. And I'm just going to take that back. As always, I am using my M510 and my Milani highlighter, and I am just going to sweep that across here, and then very lightly and that's it. So there we have it. We see how much my face looks a lot more structured, and I look a little bit more alive, more warm. So that is how I cream contour and highlight. Let me know how you guys liked this video, and let me know some other things you would like to see. I hope this helped you guys. Please subscribe. Make sure you're subscribed so you can be entered into my giveaway. I'm giving away the complete e.l.f. Luxe Brush Collection along with the daily brush cleanser. I have a tutorial on my channel for how to use the Luxe brush collection, and I have a post on my blog for using the daily brush cleanser and just how to easily clean your brushes and for very cheap. So thanks for watching, you guys.